Once upon a time, in the heart of a magical forest, lived a group of tiny people called the Mushroom Folk. These little people were no taller than a leaf and lived inside cozy, colorful mushroom houses. The mushrooms were not just their homes, they provided warmth, shelter, and everything the mushroom folk needed to live happily. The forest where they lived was full of mystery. Giant trees towered over them, their branches stretching out like arms, protecting the mushroom folk from the bright sun. The forest floor was soft with moss, and tiny streams flowed through, bringing fresh water to everyone. The air always smelled fresh and sweet, and fireflies lit up the nights like tiny stars. The mushroom folk loved their peaceful life. They spent their days gathering berries, playing among the flowers, and building things out of twigs and leaves. Each family had its own mushroom house, some round and red with white spots, others tall and thin with golden caps. Everyone in the village helped one another, and every day was filled with laughter and joy. But one day, the sky over the magical forest turned dark. Thick, heavy clouds covered the sun, and a cold wind began to blow. The mushroom folk looked up, worried. They had never seen a storm like this before. The trees swayed, and the animals of the forest ran to hide. Suddenly, the rain started. At first, it was just a light drizzle, but soon it turned into a heavy downpour. The raindrops were so big to the tiny mushroom folk that they felt like buckets of water being poured from the sky. The rain hit their mushroom homes with such force that the roofs began to bend, and the walls started to crumble. "Quick! We need to find shelter," cried Lily, one of the brave mushroom folk. She lived in a tall, purple mushroom house with her family. "The rain will destroy our homes if we don't act fast." The mushroom folk hurried to the biggest tree in the forest, where they could hide under its wide branches. But as they watched from under the tree, they saw their beloved mushroom houses falling apart. The rain was too strong, and the mushrooms couldn't hold up against the storm. "Oh no," shouted Tom, Lily's best friend. "Our homes are being washed away." The mushroom folk huddled together under the tree, cold and scared. They watched as the rain flooded their village, washing away their carefully built homes and all the things they had worked so hard to make. After hours of rain, the storm finally passed. The sun came out, but the damage had been done. The mushroom folk walked back to their village, and what they saw made their hearts sink. All the beautiful mushroom houses were destroyed. Some were broken, others were completely gone. It was a sad sight. "What are we going to do?" asked Max, one of the youngest mushroom folk, his voice shaking. "We have no homes left." Lily, who was always full of ideas, stood tall and spoke. "We can't give up. We built this village together once, and we can do it again. If we all work together, we can rebuild our homes, and maybe this time, we can make them even stronger." The mushroom folk looked at each other and nodded. They knew Lily was right. They had always been a close community, and now, more than ever, they needed to help each other. Tom raised his hand. "I'll gather twigs and leaves to make strong walls," he said. "We can use the strongest materials from the forest to make sure the new houses don't break in the rain." "I'll help," said Bella, another mushroom folk, who was always great at finding the best plants and materials. "We can use the thick vines from the trees to tie everything together." "And I'll collect seeds and plant new mushrooms," said Max, excited now. "That way, we can grow even more houses for the future." With a plan in place, the mushroom folk spread out through the forest, gathering everything they needed to rebuild their village. They worked together, just like they always had. The older mushroom folk showed the younger ones how to build strong, tall mushroom homes, and everyone had a job to do. Lily and Tom worked side by side, carefully placing each twig and leaf to make the wall sturdy. They tied everything together with strong vines so the houses wouldn't fall apart again. Max and Bella planted new mushroom seeds, watering them with the fresh rainwater, hoping the mushrooms would grow big and strong. Day by day, the mushroom folk rebuilt their homes. It was hard work, but they never stopped helping each other. They sang songs to keep their spirits high, and at night, they sat around the fire, telling stories of the old village and dreaming of the new one they were building together. Slowly but surely, the new mushroom houses began to grow. They were even more beautiful than before, with brighter colors and stronger stems. The mushroom folk made sure the roofs were extra sturdy so they could stand up to any future storms. Some houses were tall and pointy, while others were round and wide, each one unique and perfect for the families who would live in them. Finally, after many days of hard work, the village was complete. "We did it," shouted Max, jumping up and down. "Our village is back, and it's even more amazing than before." Lily smiled. "We worked hard, but it was worth it. We're stronger together, and now our homes are stronger too." Tom nodded. "No matter what happens, as long as we help each other, we can face anything." The mushroom folk cheered and celebrated. They had faced a terrible storm, but with teamwork, they had rebuilt their village and made it even more beautiful. From that day on, they knew that no matter how big the challenge, they could overcome it as long as they worked together. And so, the mushroom folk lived happily in their magical forest once again, surrounded by the strong, colorful mushroom houses they had built with their own hands, knowing that they would always be there for each other, no matter what came their way.